Good morning, children. Welcome to the English session. Before we start, let me ask, what is bullying? Bullying is unwanted aggressive behavior among school-aged children. Now, what does bullying look like? It can be physical, it can involve name-calling or teasing, or it can even be a threat to cause harm. Sometimes it can be harder to notice, like leaving someone out or excluding them on purpose, or spreading rumors or embarrassing someone in public or by text or email. Now, why do some kids bully? They bully to fit in, to feel powerful or popular, or maybe to keep from being bullied themselves. Now, what can you do if you see bullying happen? You can be an upstander. Don't just simply stand by and observe or enjoy the whole scene. Stand up. If you see someone being bullied, be a buddy. The person being bullied needs a friend. Interrupt bullying. You can ask the person being bullied to come and play with you. Speak out as it takes courage. But most bullies will stop within 10 seconds when a peer confronts them. Tell them it's not tattling, he's keeping someone safe. Be an upstander. Stand up to bullying. So, through this lesson, The 100 Dresses, we shall learn the true experiences of the author about a girl who is being teased by her classmates because she is different. The story revolves around a girl named Wanda Petronsky and her classmates, Peggy and Madeline, who made fun of her. The plot of the story opens up on Monday. Even Peggy and Madeline did not notice that Wanda was not present. These were the girls who began all the teasing. Wanda generally used to sit in the corner of the classroom where the not so academically brilliant and loud guys sat. It was that part of the classroom which was the dirtiest, but Wanda was not like those boys. She was silent to the extent that nobody had ever seen her laugh. Since Wanda was nothing like those boys, no one ever understood why she sat there. There were only guesses that it is because she came from Bawkins Heights and her shoes were usually dirty with all the mud. People hardly noticed her in the classroom as she was silent and alone all the time. It was only before or after school hours when groups of kids used to wait for her to mock her that they thought of her. Some used to wait even at the cost of getting late for school. The fact that Wanda was not present on Tuesday as well got unnoticed, but it was on Wednesday when Maddie and Peggy noticed her absence. It was also then when they waited before school to make fun of her, but instead ended up getting late because she didn't show up. Peggy was the most famous girl who wore good and tidy clothes. She sat with the toppers of the class. No one ever got curious about why Wanda was no longer coming to school. All they cared was they couldn't make fun of her. Wanda was a Polish girl from Poland who had immigrated to America. Her fellow classmates thought that Wanda Petronsky was a strange name because they had simpler and easier American names except a guy named Willie Bounce, which they thought sounded funny but still lesser than Petronsky. They found her name to be long and unfamiliar. This shows that those children didn't understand diversity and whatever they did was done out of thoughtlessness. Wanda was usually seen wearing a faded blue dress that did not fit her properly. Though clean, it used to look unironed. This shows that Wanda belonged to a poor family who could not afford too many dresses. Ironically, a lot of people talked to her, but she didn't have any friends because all of them talked to her in order to make fun of her. From her tale about 100 dresses to her unfamiliar name, they found it all amusing. When she used to watch little girls play in the ground, it was at that time other students surrounded her to mock her. With no intentions of hurting her, Peggy used to ask the number of dresses Wanda has in a very polite and respectful tone. They made fun of her because they couldn't understand why she made up that story about 100 dresses. They did all this while being ignorant of the fact that it could hurt her. No one would believe her when she said she possessed 100 dresses all lined up in her closet. Or as the other girls screamed in astonishment, the little girls would stop playing in order to see what was going on. Wanda would affirm their queries that she had dresses made of velvet and silk too. Sadly, after she left, they all used to laugh at her. It was hard to believe what Wanda said because the only dress she was seen wearing was the blue one that was faded. No one was sure as to why she lied. Although they were teasing her, they were never rude to her. Thus, in the same tone, they continued asking her about the number of shoes she said she had to, which she replied 60, each pair different. It was Peggy's idea to embarrass her like that, though she was polite. Peggy and Maddie, the inseparable friends, were the last ones to leave school, while Wanda would go back all alone with her dull eyes and behaved in a strange way. Peggy was not the mean girl she had been portrayed as until now. She saved kids from whoever was hurting them and couldn't stand animals getting badly treated. According to her, she was not being rude to Wanda. She thought it was very weird of Wanda to lie about the number of dresses she possessed, and if anything was weirder, it was a name. No matter how much they teased Wanda, they never made her cry. Maddie did not like the idea of making fun of the number of clothes and accessories Wanda possessed, not because she cared about her, but because she was poor herself. She wore clothes that were given to her by someone else, but she was not as poor as Wanda. She did not live in Boggins Heights and did not even have a weird name. Maddie didn't feel very comfortable teasing Wanda, and when Peggy used to ask Wanda those questions, she would silently count the marbles in her hand, pretending to play with them. If that dress game hadn't been invented, Maddie would have never known about the very existence of Wanda. She felt uncomfortable not because she cared about Wanda, but because she was worried she could be next. Although she was not senseless enough to say she had 100 dresses, she still wished that Peggy did not tease Wanda. Wanda didn't come that day, and after having waited for so long, Maddie and Peggy got late for school. Maddie was secretly happy that they could not get a chance to make fun of Wanda. She was lost in her own thoughts and couldn't study properly. All this time, she kept thinking about writing a note to Peggy telling her to stop making fun of Wanda, which she did write after finishing arithmetic. She wanted to write a note because she knew she did not have the guts to say it on her face. While writing the note to Peggy, Maddie shook at the imagination of her being a new target for Peggy and the girls. She was afraid that they would ask where she got that dress from, which was actually Peggy's. Maddie's mother got it transformed with new laces and ribbons so that none of her classmates could identify it. She wished Peggy stopped having fun with Wanda on her own. Suddenly, she ran a hand through her hair as a gesture to drive away all those thoughts. She said to herself, Peggy is the most liked girl in the room, her best friend, and so she couldn't be wrong. Thus, she tore and threw that note away. She was also afraid of losing her friend, Peggy. After Maddie had cleared her thoughts about confessing to Peggy, she started thinking about Wanda. She thought that Wanda was just another girl living in Boggins Heights who hardly spoke to anybody. She remembers when Wanda talked about her pale blue dress and jungle green dress paired with a red sash. The girls made fun of her by saying that she would rather look like a Christmas tree in that dress. While thinking about Wanda, Maddie began thinking about the drawing contest in which the boys had to design motorboats and girls had to design dresses. Peggy was the obvious winner of that competition because she was the best artist in the room. She could copy exact pictures and recognizable portraits. She was sure Peggy would win, and results were to be announced the next day when everyone would know what's what. The day when the results were to be announced, it was raining lightly, and thus the two best friends ran quickly to school without waiting for Wanda. Generally, they used to wait for her at the Oliver Street that led to Boggins Heights, the place where Wanda lived, but they didn't wait that day. Even if it wasn't raining that day, they wouldn't have waited for her because the day was crucial and as the results were to be announced. When the best friends entered the classroom, Peggy asked Maddie if Miss Mason would announce the results or not, to which Maddie said yes. Maddie told her that she believed Peggy would win, but to their utmost surprise, when they entered the class, there were drawings all over the room, bright and brilliant. They left everyone in awe. These were the drawings for the contest. Miss Mason announced the winners after everyone had settled. Amongst the boys, Jack Beggles had won. He drew an outboard motor which was displayed in room number 12 along with drawings made by other boys. She then talked about girls' submissions. She mentioned that there was one such girl who had submitted 100 designs, each so beautiful that the judges felt that any out of them was worthy of the gold medal. Miss Mason very proudly announced Wanda as the winner of the competition. She continued and sadly mentioned that Wanda has not been coming since days, hoping she would be there the next day. She instructed everyone to look at the flawless collection, to which everyone applauded and whistled. Maddie and Peggy even saw the blue dress that Wanda had talked about. It was beautiful. Peggy sighed. I thought I could draw, which means that the drawings left her in immense admiration. The gist of the story. The lesson, The 100 Dresses, is about a girl named Wanda who claims to have 100 dresses. Her classmates made fun of her because what she claims is in contradiction to the fact that she was always seen wearing the same dress. Her classmates found her name to be funny. It was because everyone had easier names than Wanda Petronsky. Her name was different because she was a Polish immigrant who had come to an American town with a family. She was poor and did not have many friends. She was quiet and was always seen sitting in the corner of the classroom. The truth about the 100 dresses unveiled when she submitted her 100 drawings in a drawing contest. They were the same 100 dresses she used to talk about. All of them were immensely beautiful. So, thus, we have come to the end of the session. Thank you and have a nice day.